Alright, so welcome back to some more MX versus ATV Untamed. You guys seem to really enjoy this series. It's kind of something we don't do a lot of, but it's nice to come back to once in a while, and sometimes we'll do one a month, sometimes we'll go a couple months without doing it. This is only like part 16, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check that before I do a title and get it uploaded, but there's a couple reasons why these videos are a bit longer. One, because, like I said, we don't play it too often, so it's kind of cool to get a couple races on one video, and then another reason is because when I record this, it processes the video and then it has to export it to a different folder. And when it does that, it's like, it takes wicked long. It's really, really slow, and it takes a really long time, and it's really annoying. So that's kind of why I like to do a little bit more and kind of dedicate an entire recording session just to this. Because usually when I record, a lot of times I'll record a couple different games, or if it's Reflex, we'll do a couple Reflex videos, and then they'll just sit on my hard drive until I get around to putting them all together, and so on and so forth. But when it's something from the 360, whether it be MX vs. ATV Alive or MX vs. ATV Untamed, or even if we go back to the original Supercross game, a lot of times I will just record that one game because of how long it takes. So we're going to be doing this track right here. This is Bridgeport. I know it was a long time ago. By the time this video actually gets out to you, it's been a really long time since someone mentioned it, and they might not even be here anymore, but someone was asking to see Bridgeport. So we're doing Bridgeport here, and then the second race is going to be a national. Now, this track, I know, okay? I know. Everybody's like, oh, he says he was playing on all-time difficulty or legendary difficulty, but it says normal on the track, or it says easy. If you are familiar with this game, if you're not and you make that statement, you obviously are not familiar with this game, or you just don't remember. That is the track difficulty, guys. The track difficulty. So you have the AI difficulty, which you select at the main menu, and then you have the track difficulty. Now, I would have showed all that, but then the file is even bigger and it takes even longer, so I try to cut it down. One, because people's attention spans on the internet are really, really short, and if you don't get straight to the point, people start getting upset about it, like they're getting mad at the video, like I can change that. Or, like I said, the video is just really big because of how slow and how terrible it is to process and then export the video when I record from the Xbox. So I could show that, but I'm not going to. You're just going to have to take my word for it. It was, I believe, legendary difficulty. Now, I think this one I dropped it down to pro. There's a lot of different AI difficulty settings you can put it on, and for this race, it was just pro, and it was very, very hard. I tried legendary, and it was like impossible. I was in last place. Probably would have got lapped in 5 laps, so I just dropped it down to make it a little more fun, a little more enjoyable, but yet kind of keep it to where you don't really know what's going to happen, because it's like this thing where if you lose to the AI, oh man, you suck. Well, bro, okay, I'm not great at this game. I don't sit here and practice Unleashed, Untamed, MX Unleashed, Reflex. I don't sit here and practice all these games to try and get super good at them. If we get better, it's just because we're playing them more during videos. That's why with Supercross Encore, Reflex a little bit, because I've been doing more GP games, stuff like that. I'm a little bit better, just a little bit better at those games, because that's something that we play a lot of, that we do a lot of on this channel. Also, the reason this is a post commentary, because most of the time with Untamed it's a live commentary, but with this one, it's so frustrating to do it that way. Not because it's frustrating to do a live comm, it's just because, again, coming back to the processing and how long it takes to export it, it's just so much easier to go back, put it in the video editor, cut it, make it real nice, and then add commentary afterwards. So I'm actually watching it right now while I'm talking to you. But Bridgeport, someone was asking to see this. Like I said, I know it was probably a long time ago by the time you see this, but Bridgeport, normal difficulty track, pro difficulty, AI. Now for the second race, which is the national, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get there, but I believe I think I put that back up to legendary. I'm not sure. It's been a couple days since I actually recorded this, and then coming back to it to add some commentary. But it was a really good race. It was really fun. I just never really got the timing I want. In this game, it does have the clutch boost. You have to do it just right, but if you clutch boost, you can get quite a bit of speed boost, and a lot of times, like right here, I underjumped this triple a couple times and crashed, and I was like shaking the controller. I was getting so frustrated because if I didn't let off some, because the scrub is really weird in this game, if I didn't let off some, I'd overjump and crash, and if I let off some, I'd underjump and crash. So it was really hard to find that perfect spot on those Supercross triples. The rhythm sections aren't as bad. I know there's better timings. I know I used to be a whole lot better at this game. I had so many hours tied up into this when it originally came out. Just like Reflex for the 360 was the same kind of concept as this one. And, you know, coming back to it after playing all these other games, you try playing all these different Moto games and come back. It feels weird. All right? Trust me, it feels really weird coming back and having totally different controls. Nowadays, most Moto games are the both analog stick, and there's not, I mean, they're different, they feel different, but the concept of the way the controls are mapped out, the key bindings, however you want to say it, are, whether you play on keyboard or controller, are basically the same. These games are different. It does have preload. You have like a green preload when you get a shorter one, smaller one, and then the blue one when you get like the full preload, and then you add the clutch boost. You can get huge timings through a lot of these rhythm sections, but basically we're getting our butts kicked here because I think if I wouldn't have had the couple crashes, it might have been a little bit closer. Plus, this is just a track that I wasn't that good at, and I think I ran one race here, 1 5-lap race, just to get a feel for the game, and I thought it would be good enough, but apparently it wasn't. So getting our butts kicked here, and we're losing time. That didn't help. See that crash? I mean, we're on the last lap, so it really wouldn't have made much difference probably, but either way, we're using the I'm not sure what the bike's called. It might be called the Blaze already, but basically it's the CRF 450, and then we're using some Moose gear. So this is Bridgeport for that one person that really wanted to see it, and then we're going to hop over into a national, which I believe is Split Oak B. There's Split Oak A and B. A is really easy. Split Oak B is really easy too, but yeah, he kicked our butts. 17 seconds, man. 17 seconds. We need practice. If I come back to this game more, maybe it'd be easier, but since it's so seldom that we actually play it, we're not very good. So we're going to hop over into Split Oak B, and I will see you over there in just a second. All right, and here we are at Split Oak B. There's a Split Oak A and a Split Oak B. Also, I think there's a Crawley Creek A and a Crawley Creek B. The B tracks of both of them are usually a little bit longer, a little bit tougher. Now, Split Oak is just in general like an entry level. When you first get the game, it's like Sugar Ridge and Reflex, I believe, was one of the first tracks, or the first national track that you could play. I think. I don't know. I don't remember now. One of the easier ones. I mean, it's kind of a hard track just because the way the terrain is, but the layout of the track's pretty easy. It's not like, what was the other one? Sandwick? I think it's called Sandwick. So this is that track, and I wanted something a little bit easier because if you remember from the first part of this video, we got wrecked by the AI on pro difficulty. So I didn't actually change it. It was just pro difficulty. I thought I was going to go to legendary, but it's just pro. So, and I say this a lot in Reflex videos, I never really change my bike setup. I leave it kind of the same. So I think we're more for acceleration and less top speed, which did hurt us a little bit, but it was a good race. It was pretty close the whole time. A little uneventful, but it was still fun. And I did a 3-lap race here just to warm up before doing this 3-lap race. And after doing that, it just made me think. It all came back to me. It's one of those things, it's like tying your shoes. You know, if you put enough hours into something like this, when you come back to it, you're like, oh man, I remember doing this. I remember this section. I remember finding out this new line, so on and so forth. Like, there's a section, I'll kind of try to point it out when we get there, where it's really rough, but you can kind of preload over some of that, and you could shave 1/10 of a second here, 1/10 of a second there, just a little bit quicker. You know, trying to find the little bit smoother line to carry your speed and just get a little bit better lap time. I remember doing that on this track almost as much as anything else. Now, with Supercross, I think it was Capital City, and I'm trying to think what the other one was. I think Jefferson. Those were the 2 Supercross tracks that I grinded out. I loved them. They were difficult, but just trying to get a better lap time. And with the Nationals, I can't remember what they're called. They're both kind of towards the setting for the track is in the evening. The sun's kind of going down. One's more of in the desert. Copper something. It's not Copper Canyon. Copper Valley, maybe? Someone knows. Let me know in the comments. Copper Valley, I think. And then the other one, I do not remember, but it's the same kind of setting as that, but there's palm trees in it, I think. So those are the 2 tracks that I remember grinding out a lot. And this track kind of feels a little more similar to Del Sol, if you're familiar with the game. It's one of those you just hold on. You just leave it pinned the whole time and don't have to think. It's just mindless video game motocross riding, very arcade. It's fast. And this is the section I'm kind of talking about, where you can kind of preload off of some of this. That wasn't the best example, but you can see what I'm talking about, where it's a little bit rougher and you're losing speed through it. So if you could kind of skim over the top of it, it was a bit faster. And I remember trying to just shave that little bit off the lap time and make it a little bit better. So I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in this game. It's insane to realize how big these games were back in the day and how small, I guess, they feel nowadays. I mean, graphically, no, they're not as good as they could be. They're not bad. They're not bad at all. Even now, comparing them to stuff, it still looks pretty good. But the game just feels really big. MX vs. ATV Unleashed, MX Unleashed, and MX vs. ATV Untamed. Those three games feel really big. Reflex feels pretty big too, but I still think those first three there's so much to do. There's so many things to do in it. I know a lot of people, the hardcore guys, are like, I don't care if there's planes or monster trucks. Well, I'm going to agree. I don't really care either. But I do know there's a lot of people that do care and like seeing that stuff. And so, you know, you'd think one of these days they'd kind of make a comeback towards some of this and just throw some of it in there. I mean, even if it's not in the base game, because I never expect to see this much in a base game nowadays with DLC being a thing. Motocross games are games too, guys. They're just like any other game. So if stuff like this is brought to us, like with Supercross Encore, it's going to be DLC. I mean, we got a bunch of free ride maps and stuff, but it was just DLC. You had to pay extra money for it. And I don't see any reason why a motocross game's not going to do it if all the other companies are. On top of the fact that Supercross Encore was like $30. So it's not 60. So Call of Duty's 60, plus you got all the microtransactions and all that. With Supercross Encore, $30 for the base game, half price. There's a ton of DLC, yes, but I mean, with the bike skins, I doubt a lot of people are going to buy every single bike skin. They're going to buy the ones that they want. If they ride 250s, they might buy all the 250s, but I don't think they're going to go back and buy everything. A lot of the guys don't want to buy the quad skins, or maybe if you're a quad guy, you don't want to buy the bike skins, so it's kind of, I don't know, I don't think it's that weird having DLC, and I'm not going to complain that hard about it. People can complain and say whatever they want about me, but it's no different than any other game, and I think we don't have it any worse, if not maybe a little bit better than the alternative. So, yeah, I don't know. That's Split Oak B. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, make sure to leave a like on this video if you made it this far. Also, let me know in the comments. I know a lot of people can't get through an entire video, so I appreciate it if you made it this far. And if you want to see something specific, let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to get that put in here for you. There's, again, so much to do. There's free ride. There's all kinds of cool stuff. Sometimes I live stream this game. I will be live streaming over on Twitch more. Some on YouTube, but more on Twitch. If you're curious, the links are in the description. And I guess I really don't know what else to say, but you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel and everything. And until the next video, take it easy.